This episode of Cartoon Fight Club is sponsored by Jacked. Jacked is a free membership rewards program. That's right, you can earn awesome rewards simply by doing the things you already love doing. After you download the free application, you can earn points by downloading and playing any of the 400 plus supported games, or watch videos and complete activities in the Earn section of the Jacked website or mobile app. Games like Minecraft, Roblox, Overwatch, Battlefield, and much more. Games that you probably already play right now without getting rewarded for it. So why not start earning some cool and awesome things for the games you love playing? Head on over to jack.com by clicking the link below and let them know that Animation Rewind sent you. That's jack.com. So what are you waiting for? Click that link now. It's been nearly a year and a half, but we finally made it. Welcome one and all to the 100th episode of Cartoon Fight Club. As always, I'm your host, Animation Rewind. And if you are new, where have you been? It's the 100th episode. You shouldn't be watching this if you're new. But if you're not, then let's get ready for the fight. Tonight's episode features two very special animations from two very talented animators. The first is Biorhythmic Studios and the second is Sun God. If you enjoy these animations, support the animators by subscribing to their channels. It took a whole century's worth of episodes to reach this point. But finally, the rematch between Wario and Knuckles has arrived. For those of you who don't know, which should be no one at this point, the first episode of Cartoon Fight Club was round 1 between Wario and Knuckles. This should go without saying, but if you haven't seen episode 1, what are you doing here? Speaking of episode 1, not only are we going to feature a rematch, but we're going to remaster that thing. It's pretty old and it needs an update. With all this being said, let's introduce Cartoon Fight Club's 100th round of fighters. The richest, fattest, smelliest, and greediest mustache anti-hero has finally returned to Cartoon Fight Club. The last time he was on this show was during the Mario and Sonic Total War, and the first time he appeared on this show was the legendary yet really basic episode 1. In that episode, we kept both characters in their base forms. However, in this episode, there will be a super form round between Hyper Knuckles and Wario-Man. Wario is a pretty simple dude, and I don't want to sugarcoat this because he would eat it if there's sugar on it, but Wario is a lot like Scarce.
Yeah, go. 1, 2, 3.
I am the one, the way your son don't need a gun to get respect up on the street.
Scarce is fat.
But don't, and I mean don't, let Wario's appearance fool you. He may be round, but he's extremely athletic and strong. For example, Wario can lift and throw Dynamite. Dynamite is said to have roughly the same weight as a Titanosaur. The average Titanosaur weighs 139 tons or 278,000 pounds. Wario is not only seen lifting this dinosaur, but he is also shown whipping it around and throwing it with ease. Not only is Wario strong, but for someone of his size, he's also pretty darn fast. He's fast enough to run on water, outrun boulders, and has a motorcycle that can reach speeds up to 114 miles per hour. Killing Wario is going to be no easy task. The crazy pain that this guy puts himself through is so immense, it's almost masochistic. Wario has survived free falls from space down to Earth, point-blank impacts from Crash's bombs and Bowser's flying ship, and he's even completely immune to his deadly toxic farts. Wario isn't perfect. He's not the smartest guy around. Mario defeated Wario in Super Mario Land 2, so clearly there are characters in his own universe more powerful than him. Speaking of power, when Wario eats raw garlic, he transforms into Wario-Man. As Wario-Man, all of Wario's abilities are amplified. He gains the ability to fly, his farts are supercharged, and his strength and speed are boosted. He's also invincible. This form can last as long as Wario still has garlic in his digestive system, which doesn't last as long as you think. Wario needs a lot of food in the tank to stay well fed. Overall, for someone of Wario's size, he's extremely strong, athletic, and fast. After eating raw garlic, he gains a powerful super form, but he isn't the smartest character around, and he has lost battles before. From one strong treasure hunter to another, let's discuss Knuckles. The red echidna known as Knuckles has returned to this series in the same way and fashion as Wario, originating from Episode 1 and from appearing in the Mario and Sonic Total War. Knuckles is the last of his species and is tasked with protecting the only thing he has left worth taking care of, the Master Emerald. Knuckles knocks down knobbing knee holes knowing nothing near knitting. Did you catch that? I'm sure you want to know what that means, right? Well, this is what it means.
The Krusty Krab, yeah, it's the pizza, yeah, for you and me.
Actually, it means nothing. I'm sorry. I take that back. Anyways, out of all of Sonic's friends, Knuckles is the muscle of the group. He can bench press 100 metric tons and can easily break through solid metals and stones with his knuckles. The red echidna is fast enough to keep up with the likes of Sonic and Tails. However, on many occasions, it is shown that Sonic and Tails at their top speeds are much faster than Knuckles. For someone who never wears pants, he's also very versatile. He has the ability to glide, climb, and spin dash. Knuckles can also jump high heights and has the uncanny ability to sense the chaos energy of Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emerald. Being a guardian of the Master Emerald, Knuckles is a very powerful fighter. He is a master in a number of martial arts, focusing mostly on hand-to-hand combat. He has been able to fight Sonic the Hedgehog to a standstill on several occasions. Physically, Knuckles is a powerhouse, but mentally, he's got plenty of loose screws in his head. Knuckles is very easy to fool and manipulate. His main and possibly only strategy is to punch and use force to solve all his problems. Sadly for him, punching is not the answer to everything. When Knuckles obtains and taps into the power of the 7 Super Emeralds, he can transform into a form known as Hyper Knuckles. As Hyper Knuckles, this echidna's physical abilities are boosted to extreme levels. He can fly indefinitely, travel faster than light, gains invincibility, and is far stronger than his base form. Hyper Knuckles during the game mechanic can last at least 50 seconds for 50 rings. However, this is just a game mechanic. As seen in the end of Sonic 2 plus Knuckles, the super form can actually last overnight, and as seen in Sonic Adventure 2, there is evidence of super forms lasting weeks on end. Overall, Knuckles is extremely durable, fast, and strong, and is a physical powerhouse. He isn't the brightest of the bunch, but while in his super/hyper form, he becomes nearly unbeatable. And now, let's get ready for the fight. The first round is going to take place on Angel Island without prep, and the second round is going to take place in Hydro City with 1 day's worth of prep, allowing super forms. Let the 100th battle begin!
Get ready for the next battle.
Oh yeah! Oh!
Oh, you want to fight, do ya?
Oh yeah! Wario time!
Come to Knuckles! Whoa!
Wow!
What? What? The thunder comes! Hang time!
Yeah!
Here we go!
Come on!
Whoa!
Power time!
Bounce pad! Going up! Say hi to my bitch!
Oh yeah! Have a rotten Wonderful!
Right, me echidna!
Oh yeah!
Looks like it's time to fight!
Fight!
Bring it on!
Oh!
Leave it to me! The Chaos Emeralds!
Wah, wah, wah!
you know my strength!
Certainly, there is explaining to do. But before we do that, I gotta give two super huge shoutouts to the amazingly talented battle animators. The first being Biorhythmic Studios for animating that super epic remastered version of episode 1, and the Sun God for animating the Superform rematch. Please, go and support these animators by checking out their channels and subscribing. And finally, after 100 episodes, Knuckles finally gets his revenge. And even then, he had to sit through a remastered version of his original loss to the not so lean but very mean fighting machine known as Wario. Before we dive into the Wario-Man vs. Hyper/Super Knuckles debate, let's take a trip down memory lane and talk about why base Wario can beat base Knuckles in a fight. First, let's start with the physical aspect between Wario and Knuckles. The only edge physically that base Knuckles has over base Wario is speed. Wario outclasses Knuckles in every other physical category. Wario is stronger, as stated many times that Knuckles can only bench press 100 tons, while Wario can casually lift things over 130 tons. Wario is far more durable, as he has survived free falls from space down to Earth, point blank impacts from plane crashes, bombs, and Bowser's flying ship, and is 100% completely immune to his own deadly toxic farts. Knuckles, on the other hand, while durable in his own right, has never tanked things at the level Wario has, and Wario has a wider range of attacks and moves to pull on Knuckles. Thanks to Wario's toxic and deadly atomic farts, Wario has a very important range strategy that he can use against Knuckles. All of Knuckles' moves involve close combat, while Wario's farts can leave deadly trails or an extremely wide blast radius. From a mental aspect, neither of the characters are tactical geniuses, but it's very clear that Wario is much smarter and a more clever thinker than Knuckles is. Wario successfully runs his own tycoon-sized gaming company and is smart enough to program and design many successful games. Knuckles does not possess the intellectual abilities to do any of that. Wario is also a master thief and manipulator, and Knuckles is not the best security guard and can easily be manipulated. Long story short, if you smell anything, it's not just toxic farts. That's the smell of base Wario's victory. Now, when the super forms come into play, this becomes a whole new ballgame. For starters, both Knuckles and Wario's super forms are powerful and durable enough to cancel each other out. What this really becomes is a waiting game, and with the waiting game, we can take a look at this from two different aspects. We can judge a winner based on measuring the game mechanics of each form, or we can judge a winner based on measuring the plot elements of each form. It really doesn't matter which style of measurement you prefer, because Knuckles ends up victorious in both categories. With game mechanics, the absolute minimum of the Hyper Knuckles form lasts 50 seconds. You need at least 50 rings to activate the form. The absolute minimum of the Wario-Man form lasts 24 seconds. You need at least one garlic clove to activate his form. There is no debate that 50 seconds is much longer than 24 seconds. And when you're measuring game mechanics, you have to go with the minimum, because the maximum is just based on how the player plays, hence why the measurement is known as a game mechanic. When judging with plot elements, the Hyper Knuckles form lasts far longer than the Wario-Man form as well. In the DS game WarioWare Touched, Wario becomes Wario-Man from eating rotten garlic. Wario can stay in this form until he either pukes the garlic out or until he fully digests it. Food passes through the stomach in about 6 to 8 hours, which makes sense in the game because during the game the form wears off later in that same day once Wario enters the sewers. The KS Emerald super forms, on the other hand, can last for days and even weeks on end according to the plot elements. In the end of Sonic 2 plus Knuckles, Knuckles held his super form for an entire night after defeating Eggman, and there is evidence from the Sonic Advanced game that proves that super forms can last for multiple days. Long story short, the moment Wario-Man transforms back into his base form, it's only a matter of seconds until a faster-than-light invincible Hyper Knuckles comes charging at him and killing him. It took me 100 episodes to finally say this, but the winner of the rematch is Hyper Knuckles. And because this episode also featured a remastered, I kind of feel like cleaning up and remastering some other things. Specifically, the Mario and Sonic Total War. That's right, if you want to see a brushed up, cleaned up, remastered version of the legendary Mario and Sonic Total War, all you gotta do is like this video. And because I really want to know if a lot of people want to see this, I'm gonna bump up the like rates. If this episode gets 20,000 likes, I will remaster the Mario and Sonic Total War. Total Wars take a while to make, but it will be in production if this episode reaches 20,000 likes. Also, don't forget to comment down your own ideas for future episodes of Cartoon Fight Club. We need a lot of ideas to kick off Season 2. Speaking of saying hello to Season 2 and goodbye to Season 1, I got a special message for you coming real soon. Scratch that, coming right now.
You like memes?
I do.
Well, too bad. But if you are interested in the second season of Cartoon Fight Club, all you gotta do is click this annotation, this card, or the link below. I'll take you on a journey.
I like journeys.
Too bad.